listening to The Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three relatively grown men binge the iconic HBO series Sex and the City. So dust off those DVDs and grab yourself a white wine or even a Cosmopolitan and settle in. Take it away, boys.
Welcome to The Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three guys watch their way through Sex and the City for the first time ever, mostly. I'm Cory Cavin.
I'm Kevin James Doyle.
My name is Jon Sieber.
And today, Kevin,
We're here with a great guest.
Oh, man. We're really excited about our guest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
From the TV show Ozark and many other
Cory's
things,
roommate.
Marc Menchaca.
Hello, boys.
Yeah! I said right when Mark came in, I said Mark was the first person to ever give me beard product.
And
my wife thanks you now.
It
was the badass beard balm.
I've still got some in my pocket.
Yeah?
I need it. Yeah.
You only have a little bit of scruff right now, though.
I know, but it's just good for just to moisten the skin.
You put it on there even with just a little scruff?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know
I carry
that.
it all the time.
Do you ever do beard oil? Because I do beard oil on a little bit of scruff, but then if you ever put your phone up on your face, you get a oily screen.
I used to do beard oil. Comb it through, let it sit for a minute, and then do beard balm. That's how you're supposed to do
Is
it.
balm like a cream?
Well, it's like a
balm?
like a balm.
Like
Yeah.
something-
And you had one of the best. You had an iconic beard, I would say. An incredible beard.
How long did it take you to grow your Ozark beard for when you were on Ozark?
I started probably in June, and then I started shooting middle of August.
Okay.
That's
But then they let
That's insane.
yeah, but they let it grow throughout the show too. So
So it's
okay.
getting longer.
I think this has been like 4 years.
You're just because your beard just comes in like as a beard.
I did notice when I gave you a hug that like those hairs just kind of stick
They
out.
just do whatever they want. I knew why. It's because I only do the oil. I need to do the oil and the balm.
And the balm, yeah.
we'll
I'm going to do that tomorrow after my shower. Do you do it post shower? Obviously.
Post shower, yeah.
Do you do it? What if you like shower the night before and then you wake up in the morning? Do you do it in the morning too?
I do it in the morning, yeah.
All right.
But
You
I carry it with me all the time, so I'll do it
Couple
throughout
times.
the day.
I love that.
Is it make it grow faster? Or is
No,
it
it just makes it smell good.
God, what a good move.
Yeah.
Okay,
Good man.
here's a question.
Yeah.
You're the first person that we've had on the podcast that has been cast on a television show on HBO. HBO being the network that carries the subject of this podcast, Sex and the City.
Right.
Oh, that's
Because you were
true.
on the TV show Generation Kill,
Yeah.
which was an HBO show, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I did some research. It's not the same casting director as Sex and the City. But I have to say, was Generation Kill on at the same time as Sex and the City?
What years?
I don't know. I've never seen Sex
Did you
and the
ever
City.
audition for Sex and the City?
No, never auditioned for it.
What years was Generation Kill on? 06?
No, it was on 08.
Okay, so
You
that's
fucking know that there are people around HBO just being like, man, 2 years earlier with Mark, and he would have
Yeah,
been.
you would have crushed
I
it on
do feel
HBO.
like had you lived in New York at that time, you would have 100%.
100%.
You would have 100% been a storyline of one of the women on Sex and the City.
Like a cougar storyline.
Yeah, you would have been. They would have been the cougar to you.
Yeah.
Like you would have been a young guy that Samantha.
Samantha would have picked him up at like a rodeo or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, I'm not your typical cattle, am I? And she's like, no, you're not. But finally, I got my lasso around you, and you're like, and then just more of those puns.
Yeah.
She'll be like, I'll be your roadie ho.
Roadie ho.
And then she'd be like, ride 'em cowboy.
Well, it's funny because I usually, when I go to auditions, I usually take my ropes with me. Take a rope with me.
It's funny. I've noticed you walking out of the building with your ropes, and I've been like, "That's weird. You're getting on the subway with all those ropes."
I did take my rope to an audition one time. It was for Red Dead Redemption.
Wait, for real?
Yeah, for the first one. And I got, because they said that they needed some people who could rope. And
You're like, wait, what was it for? It was for Law and Order SVU.
He wasn't even auditioning. He just came to show his rope skills off.
Wait, Red
And
Dead
then-
Redemption, isn't that a voice acting thing? Or is it like
Motion
full-
capture too.
It's
Imagine-
motion
Oh, it's
capture, yeah.
Okay.
You met him today.
Did a little mocap.
Motion
and,
capture.
I did meet him today. That's true.
Did a little mocap and voice for Red Dead Redemption.
Were you in 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So what was the roping like in the audition?
Well, so I was living in Gramercy Park at the time, and I went full. I did the whole deal. I put my hat on, boots and jeans, and I walked from my place down to Soho, and I'd be like, "Hey, you know where 23rd and Park is?" And people, literally, it was kind of an experiment, and people gave me the wildest directions, and I was like on Broadway, like it was the easiest directions to give, but some people had no idea, and then
it's so funny.
And who lived and worked here. Like there were people outside smoking a cigarette. I went up and I was like, "Can you tell me how to get here?" And they'd be like, "No," they'd send me some other direction. But anyways, I had my rope with me, and so I go down there and I go into the audition, and there's a guy with like. He's like a trick. He does rope tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And so
jumps in and jumps out.
And I was like, this fucking guy. He doesn't know how to rope. He can jump in and out of the rope, and then I had to
He
go.
Probably took a cab there too.
I don't know, whatever they put out. I roped some whatever object they had
Casting
sitting in the
director.
room. Yeah.
Intern, run.
So anyways,
But you got it.
I got it.
And you know what that guy's doing?
And then in doing it, that's why I was so excited about doing it, because I thought I was going to be roping the whole time. And then it ended up being maybe like 15 minutes
Of roping?
of the whole thing that I did.
Uh-huh.
It was the most minor part of the job. And I worked on it for like a week, and it was like 15 minutes of roping.
Could you have told me just not to work on that?
Yeah.
Okay, I think it's just whatever gets you in the door.
So if you're casting yourself on Sex and the City, what's your storyline? You meet Samantha?
Samantha, who is Samantha?
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall. She's the older, more sexual,
she's
sexual
definitely-
forward of the four.
Definitely my type.
So what's your storyline? You
Right
write
up
it
my
yourself.
alley, as they would say. What's my storyline?
Yeah, what's your storyline?
Stroll into a bar, belly up, and then look over and I see her and she sees me. And I say, I'm not going to make you do this, but if you want to get me a drink, I'm open to talk to you.
See, I picture it like this. Samantha was outside on her lunch break when a cowboy was looking for directions to the motion capture studio. And it's just Mark walking down the streets being like,
And then he says, "I'm not going to make you do
"Hey
this."
man,
but
I don't know do you know where 23rd and Park is?" And then it's just it's her running across the screen naked and him lassoing her down.
Cut to a Starbucks bathroom.
Yeah.
And then she finds out at the end, she's like, "So what's it like being a cowboy in New York?" And he's like, "I live in Gramercy." What? I'm not a cowboy. She found out he was just an actor.
Yeah.
No, that would have been a good. That would have been a good pickup. Be it.
I think the whole thing, I'm not
Be like, hey, if you want to just like take a little, just start skipping a little bit. Let me see if I can rope you.
Yeah. I bet
And
Samantha.
if I can,
you owe me a
then
drink.
You owe me a drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good
I
one.
feel like that would just work in life for
Yeah.
you. You could just go up to any woman and say that.
Yeah. Kim Cattrall, man. She would be, I love her.
Yeah.
Have you what is it like? Have you ever done any like nude or sex scenes? Like what's it like actually on set? Because they have a lot of these. Is there anything just like that's uncomfortable on set where you're like, oh wow, like this is, because everyone watches that being like, it's so hot, or that must be so weird. What's it like? Have you had any scene that's odd to do like that?
Well, I had a couple of things back to back one time. One was a movie about a sex therapist,
Mm-hmm.
and I was her main client. And then like we ended up falling in love, and then ended up having sex. And
Nice.
but Brooke and I were like, we kind of hit it off from the start. What happened was we met maybe a day, I don't know, a few days before we started shooting. Had a drink with the director, and then the first day we had to be like completely naked together.
Wow.
I mean, you have
Peenie out?
I had the Commando on.
Okay.
which
It's
is
called the
a-
Commando, which is the
it's-
the cocksock.
Yeah, it's cocksock that like snaps shut.
It's a good time to say Mark is an actor. Did we say that already?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he just wears the commando around.
And so Brooke was like, "Why don't we just get this out of the way?" And we went and we were shooting in a hotel, and we had everybody leave the room, and we were in our robes, and then we just said 1, 2, 3, and we dropped our robes, and we were just like totally naked in front of each other,
Wow.
and started laughing uncontrollably
Oh my
about
goodness.
2 seconds after we did it, and then it was fine. Like once we did the sex scenes, and it was we did the sex scenes and it was fine, and we would do it, and whatever happened, and then after, like when they called cut, we just like lay down and started laughing. And
Yeah. Was that the first things you shot? Because it seems like a lot of times they do that. They shoot that earlier. They're like, let's.
it was
get
it
this-
was the first
thing you shot.
scene. Well, not the sex scene, but we were like in the shower, and she was supposed
Farting.
to be.
Just kidding.
She was supposed to be.
Working the Commando.
Yes, working the commando.
Commando,
And finally, the director was like, "I need you. Like, your hand motions can't be that long. Because
You would need a real penis to actually make it realistic, or else it's like, that's hilarious.
But then I did a pilot right after that, and I approached the girl that I was doing the scene with, and I said, "Hey, I just want to know. I want to." Like whatever is fine with me, and I just want to know what you're comfortable with." And she goes, and this was like a stark contrast to what I just finished with Brooke. She goes, "Oh, what would my husband say?"
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, "Okay, you've already killed everything."
Yeah.
And
all
she
we
was like,
needed.
"Just don't touch here." And I was like,
You just motion
Fine.
across your chest.
"Yeah."
Yeah.
And anyways, it did not. They ended up shooting the pilot over again, and it like completely with like new cast.
Wow.
So you won't ever see it.
That makes me like hearing this. I'd never thought about Kim Cattrall's character, who's basically doing a different sex scene every single episode with a different guy. Like, she's a freaking pro. Like, to be that comfortable and to just like do that week after week after week, like she's got some chops.
Yeah, I would like to try it with her
Yeah.
just to see if we're at the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that. That's why I feel like we got to revamp the show.
Kim.
Revamp the show.
Kim, you
If you're
listening?
listening.
Kim.
Can you listen to me? Because I will tell you.
I will say this. If we need to do a Patreon episode, an extra episode of the show where we can just get you and Kim Cattrall on the phone together, and we just do a reading of the scene of what it would be with the two of you guys together.
We could try and actually make that happen. We could have her call in here.
Dude,
That would be amazing.
I think we could. Okay.
You think we can get Kim on a call-in?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so.
I believe.
into it.
I believe in it.
I think she's probably an incredibly nice and generous person.
Yeah.
I think so
I
too.
would
From what I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's my question. What's your relationship to the show Sex and the City? How many episodes would you say you've seen?
0.
Awesome.
Really?
Really?
Never seen
This
it.
is your first
Love that.
episode.
Yeah.
Well, you are in for a treat, my friend.
Real quick, how long have you lived in New York?
16 years.
16 years. All right. So you were here when that show was around.
I
Right?
think so, because I think
Yeah.
they stopped airing in 2004, 2005.
So
Yeah,
it'd be
but I came here and I just went to study and I did not audition.
You went into the craft of acting.
I went to
The
craft.
school of life, as they call
yes,
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to hear because that's longer than all of us have been here, and it'll be interesting to hear your perspective on what the city was like 16 years ago versus what it's like now.
Cougars stay the same.
Cougar States. All right, what's the name of
We're
the
going
episode?
out on that.
From the craft of acting to craft services, my life.
Lee Strasberg says cougars stay the same. If you look at
we're
Meisner
on-
technique, one of the main tenets is cougars
Stay the same.
Like the water and the wind, they stay the same. John's finding what episode it's.
All right, so we have what goes around comes around.
There you go.
What goes around comes around.
Let's go watch it.
All right.
Episode 47. What goes around comes around. Carrie decides that she must clear herself of bad karma and that she must talk with Natasha about her affair with Mr. Big. Miranda dates a gorgeous NYPD detective and becomes self-conscious about her own looks. Unhappily married Charlotte struggles with her lust for a hunky gardener, and she and Trey decide to separate. Samantha meets another Sam Jones, who turns out to be an NYU student and a desperate virgin. And now, back to the boys.
What comes around goes around. Switch it. Just make sure you were listening.
What comes around goes around. That was the name of the episode.
That, you guys, a lot of crazy stuff happened in that episode.
You know,
That was my episode.
Well, I know. That's what I want to talk about right out of the gates.
a lot of times these guest bookings go months in advance in preparation, and then sometimes you happen upon a little bit of magic that you could not control because we had a cancellation. We reached out to Mark.
Mark's
Mark
in
accepted.
town.
And this episode is...
It's the episode I should have been in.
It is
Yes!
the episode you should have been in.
It's fucking crazy this happened.
We were just talking earlier about what your character would have played. It was that guy.
It was that guy.
Yeah.
No, it's not just that guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Without us prompting it, we were like, dude, how much is that you? And then what'd you say? Yeah, I mean, explain what you did.
I texted the guy who it was. I ended up knowing the guy who played the part.
So funny.
Dude.
Has he gotten back to you yet?
I don't know.
it's a guy.
man.
It's a guy who. So it's weird because the guy that Samantha. There's a guy named Sam Jones, and Samantha's name is Sam Jones, and he's in college, and she decides the only way to like mitigate them having the same name and people getting them mixed up is for her to sleep with him. But at the time, he's probably like a early 20s actor.
Yeah.
And that was like right before you'd moved to the city to start your acting career. It was 100% you.
How old would you have been in 2001?
No, 1999 is when they recorded. No,
No, that was when American Beauty was. They recorded in 2000 or 2001.
So 2000, how old are you?
That I would
sorry. Do you not?
20.
I didn't mean to.
No.
Okay.
20.
Early 20s?
19 years ago.
Yeah.
20. Wait. 19. 24.
Okay.
So that would have been.
I mean, and I bet
That was not very hard math to do, and I just made it real hard.
I'm the
No, but
same
that
way.
would've been-
I couldn't have
Pax,
figured that
thank
out.
You couldn't.
Sponsored by
You
them.
couldn't be in the Sex and the City episode because you were getting your master's in mathematics at Texas
Right.
A&M.
Yes. Yeah.
That is so crazy.
I mean, and also the way that you would have looked when you were 20, you're like a fresh-faced 24-year-old actor. You would have that was completely you,
Yeah.
100%.
With the Southern accent and everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you
He
said
didn't-
that guy had you said he had a fake Southern accent because they were probably just like play a dumb Southern guy. But you have a genuine Southern accent.
Yeah.
It was 100. It was your part completely.
That
And it was
that
with Kim Cattrall.
What's that?
It was you and Kim
It
Cattrall.
would have been you.
I know.
Oh man.
I know. Kim, I want to meet you.
I can assure you, she's not going to hear that.
That is so wild. We talked about it before the episode. That dude's right in your wheelhouse.
Oh man, that was crazy. And
So let's do it. We're gonna do a little podcast within a podcast, but it's already done because Steve's a casting director now.
yeah.
Yeah. Are we we're
What,
launching into that in a little bit. Yeah.
You also have worked with Natasha before.
Oh yeah, you've worked with old Bridget Moynihan, Natasha.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. On Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Which I didn't even
Nice
realize. I didn't even realize that was
Same person.
same person. She's in the Family on Blue Blood.
Yeah.
She's the
Same
she
person.
She
Yeah.
used to be married to,
Tom Brady.
but no, in the show on Blue Bloods, who was her husband?
I'm not
Wahlberg?
sure. No, Wahlberg's her brother.
Okay.
Yeah, and Selleck's her dad. And then the older guy is her grandfather, and then she has kids, which would make him their great grandfather. And if you do the math, it doesn't really add up.
Yeah.
Because her oldest daughter is in high school, and their great grandfather is still like a functioning guy that hosts dinner at his house
every week without fail.
Every week.
He's good at math.
I did the math.
Little tidbit about Bridget Moynihan.
Yeah.
So I showed up the day before I started Blue Bloods. I had an audition for it was an HBO show. It was like 70s cop, and I shaved down to a mustache. I had a pretty strong mustache. And anyways, I showed up to Blue Bloods with this mustache, and we kind of went back and forth. And I went into hair and makeup, met Bridget. She was in the chair, and we introduced. And then she finished up and left, and we were trying to get a hold of the director, and he wanted to shave my mustache. So anyways, I go to set a little bit later, and I walk up and I see Bridget, and I was like, hey. And she was like, to the producer. She was talking to one of the producers. Mm-hmm. She goes, what happened to the mustache? And she was like, it was a great mustache. What, does Tom have a non-compete in his contract or what?
That's funny.
And it turns out he does.
Yeah. Dude, he leads with that stash. I love watching that mustache do work on that show.
I mean, he's in our lifetime, he has changed his type from like full on sex symbol with a mustache
to full on sex symbol with a mustache.
Yeah. To, yes.
He's still doing it, man.
But if we're going to talk about mustaches, Sam Elliott has a way better mustache than
Sam doesn't have a better mustache. He has the stash. If you said the stash, if you were in his
Hollywood, stash gets paid.
Yes,
like there's a separate check for his stash.
Yeah, his stash actually has separate agents.
Yeah,
that's like a whole deal. It's a whole different agent, different agency.
You know that part of whereas like John C. Reilly had to be like, listen, like I'm John C. Reilly, I can do comedy too, and then he does it and he crushes it. But Sam Elliott was like Sam Elliott before and after, but he's like, if I get this stash on, I can get a best supporting actor nomination, and he did.
Yeah,
it was Sam Elliott just make the stash smaller, and he was the same character, and people were like, what a turn.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
Yeah,
so good. And that when he throws the car in reverse, just cries and Stars Born. That right there is beautiful.
I haven't seen that movie yet.
Oh, well, there's this part where he throws the car in reverse.
Yeah, he cries. But his mustache does some good work in it.
Let's talk about the episode.
Okay.
The through line of the episode was does a string of bad dates equal one good one? Is there such thing as relationship karma? And then we have the 4 women all having karma experiences. Miranda's has a string of bad nerdy dates, and she finally gets a date with a hunk, and she ends up getting self-conscious about him being better looking than her, drinks too much, and spoils that relationship. Samantha's storyline is great. Her karma chain leads her to a virgin college student with the same name as her, Sam Jones, and she thinks it's her duty, nay, her obligation to deflower this young freshman. And she does.
That was me, by the way.
That should have been Mark. Carrie, I want to save Carrie for last. Charlotte, she ends up cheating on Trey with the gardener to the Riverdance theme song, I think is playing.
That's
in her
what
head.
that was.
Yeah, and then Carrie pulls what I would argue the most despicable thing Carrie has done to date in this show.
Wow.
She forces herself to sit down with the woman whose marriage she ruined to say that she's sorry so she could feel better about herself. Horrible move. Horrible move.
Can we start here for the conversation?
Let's just start there.
What?
This is
Wait,
what
hold on.
What
Did you give what our headline was?
Yeah.
The karma thing?
Yeah, is there such thing as relationship karma?
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
So, Mark, John just said that was the most despicable thing Carrie ever did
It's up to date.
to date.
So
I want to know how you felt when Carrie sat down, Sarah Jessica Parker, happy birthday, sat down and talked to Natasha. Did you know who Natasha was?
Was that
Bridget Moynihan.
that was
Yeah.
Bridget Moynihan.
No. I
Okay,
didn't.
so Carrie dated her husband for a little while. Then Bridget Moynihan and this guy got married, and then Carrie fucked him for like a month
While they were married.
while they were married, and then fucked him. And then Bridget Moynihan came home, chased after Carrie, and then ran downstairs and then fell down her stairs of her apartment and knocked her front teeth out.
Oh, that's one of the,
That was the tooth line.
yeah, the tooth.
And yeah, and she was so concerned about not getting reborn as a slug that she imposed herself at the lunch to apologize. I'm using air quotes. I'm not really even sure if it was an apology because she was just doing it so she felt better about herself. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty gnarly. What do you think, Mark?
Well, I just now putting this in context. I thought Bridget Moynihan's response to her was pretty perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Sarah Jessica Parker, she's just cute. It's kind of hard to not.
And she looks so fierce when she's walking.
Well, and that was an iconic dress she had
That
on.
was an
at the
iconic
time.
dress, the newspaper dress.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because whenever people hate on Carrie too hard, it's kind of fine because I feel like a lot of times people spend all this time making Carrie into a likable person of being like, I look at Carrie differently now. And like, it's like maybe she was the anti-hero that was the same as Tony Soprano on there being like, yeah, you know what? Sometimes a perfect babe fucks your husband and cheats on her husband. Because a lot of times people act like Carrie's better than she was. But watching this, it's like, that's pretty epic.
Yeah, if you cheat, if you have an affair and you ruin a marriage, your response is just to do the Homer Simpson behind the bushes. Like you just gotta disappear from that person's life.
I agree with that in the sense that it was the only, I think from a life thing, you can see someone being like, I want to apologize because I want to clear the air, which is, like I get from you, like she probably felt guilt and all this stuff, but you're right. She was doing that to make herself feel better.
Yeah.
I feel like in the show, there's a thing where they could do that where it's like, oh, this could actually show how she's feeling. Like this could show the depth in her of how bad she's feeling. And then it also can make her look super flawed because she does this. So it's like the only other way to show like what was going on inside of Carrie would be like an internal monologue or her saying it to someone else. So why not like raise the stakes and have her just go in and make a decision like that?
Well, I think they could have had her show up to the restaurant, see Natasha, and then turn around and do that slow walk without her going in there and ruining Natasha's lunch.
And then doing like a monologue of her
internal
being like,
monologue.
I realized
Like,
that this is how I felt, but I cared enough about her that I didn't want to tell her this stuff.
Exactly.
That would have been probably the better thing to do as a
But
person.
would you have done that?
If I ever broke up, ruined someone's marriage,
When was the last time you did that?
2003, I think.
Oh.
right when you were moving here.
When I
Yeah.
was moving to New York.
No, I've never ruined a marriage to
I was
date.
still green as shit.
You're just hooking up with Kim Cattrall in your dorm room.
Yeah.
That's fine. Speaking of, I want to talk about Sam Jones hooking up with Sam Jones. We have a friend that dated a woman solely because they had the same name as each other.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Who was it?
I won't give last names, but we had a Dylan who dated a Dylan solely because her name was Dylan and he wanted to hook up with someone with the same name as him.
Was that a known thing as it was going on, or was that like his undercover deal?
No, he was very much like, I want to hook up with someone with my same name.
I did that too, and that's why
That's kind of dumb.
You know,
Yeah,
Mark doesn't like it.
that's why I had sex with Kevin McAllister.
That was
I did the
officially the
same.
worst joke we've had on the
there's plenty of other things that you would potentially want to hook up with somebody because you had this something in common, but a name like
Yeah.
I don't want to hook up with a girl named Mark.
Yeah. I
That
don't
would be-
Especially if it was spelled M-A-R-K. Oh, disgusting.
Right. Oh yeah, the M-A-R-K would be that.
M-A-R-C.
But no, like that would be weird.
Yeah.
I
Like
dated
for that to be the sole reason that you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not the name.
I
Like,
dated a girl named Corey in the 6th grade.
Really?
We dated for like 6 weeks.
you didn't date. You went with each other.
We had exactly
You're like,
the scene
where
that
you
Sam
going?
Jones and Sam Jones had. We had wild sex.
Tantric.
And then she was like, I love you. And I was like, honey, that's not love. That's sex. And then we both turned our hall passes and went back to class. That's how it ended. No, yeah, we like went together. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't
Yeah,
date.
you didn't date.
Yeah, we didn't
You
date.
don't
We were
date.
6th grade. It wasn't even 6 weeks. It was like a week. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Felt like 6 years, though.
You went. Oh my God. It feels like a lifetime.
I have to text her.
It feels like a marriage. I gotta hold on.
Can you name all of your girlfriends or girls you went with from
I can try real quick.
Corey until now?
From Corey till now.
Yeah.
Corey,
One man's journey.
Shelly, first kiss, Shelly.
Hot.
Shout out to Shelly.
Shout out to Shelly.
I wrote a song and Shelly is in the first verse.
Really?
Shelly, she don't wear too many clothes.
I've heard
Oh,
you.
mom and dad weren't ever too close.
I've heard that song before.
Yeah.
I've heard you play it. It's a good song.
Yeah, I sang that about Shelly.
It's about her.
Did you date a Shelly or are you singing about Cory
She's
Shelly?
singing about my girl.
I'm singing about Corey Shelly.
Hey. No, Corey, Shelly, Sabrina. I don't
Little
know,
bit of
Claire.
Sabrina by
I
my
can't
side.
name them all. Corey, Shelly,
can't
Sabrina,
name
Claire,
them all, Corey.
Holly. I went to prom with her.
Dude, you
Joanna.
Ooh.
And then we get into college from
Dude,
there.
you were wenting out with a bunch of people.
Dude. But some of those were just, whatever. Hey, listen, hey. I'm a lover. I'm a lover. Not a
That's
fighter.
it.
My
Yeah.
first girl that I went with was named Angie, and I really wanted to buy her a flower, but my parents wouldn't let her, so I bought her GAC instead. Have I told this story on here?
No.
I think I have. You guys remember GAC?
Yeah.
It made like fart noises in the plastic.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
then
a little putty.
she like dumped me immediately, and I asked for my GAC back.
But you know what?
Got that shit back.
I feel like though that means you ended up in the right relationship now. Because if you gave your wife gack, even
She'd
if she
give
wasn't
that gack
into it,
back.
she'd be like, "Oh, John gave me some gack." She
Yeah.
would think it's so cute.
You hear
Also,
that,
I want to
Katie?
clarify that some of the women I named, I went to prom with one of them, so we didn't really go together. We just went to prom together. I don't want to get letters on this podcast saying you said we dated when we didn't date.
Also,
No, you just went. You went.
I went to prom with two.
I will say this about this episode. There is a thing when you live in New York, it seems like every 2 weeks on the front page of the newspaper is some teacher having sex with some student. And it's when I was a kid, I feel like that never heard about that. And then it's like probably 7 times a year, there's a story about like New York City teacher has sex with student. And I want to go back to high school and know that that was on the table.
That's part of de Blasio's initiative for schools, right?
To not fuck students.
Oh, I thought it was that the teachers were supposed to have sex with the students. He was like, we're going to do 80-20 housing, and then we're going to have teachers have sex with students. That was his campaign promise.
Yeah.
I just think I think that dude had not
You
a
talking
lot-
about Sam Jones?
You talking about Sam Jones? He was in college, though, right?
He
It
was in
makes
college.
sense
Sam
that
Jones.
Sam Jones is
Was your
your
buddy
buddy.
that you texted?
Sam Jones is the part you were supposed to be.
Oh.
Let's
That's
just
the
call
young- the
Sam
younger
Jones
Sam
part
Jones.
Mark's part from now on.
So Mark's part.
Mark's part. He had the fantasy that not just anyone like that is. There's entire '80s movies based on that.
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
had
of course.
he had the best Sam Jones story yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were an 8th grade boy,
Yeah.
But he was in college.
He was a
right?
freshman in college.
Freshman in college.
Yeah.
So you're 18 in college.
yeah,
That,
I know
that
that.
happened to me at a much later age.
Like you had a Sam Jones dating experience.
But yeah, it was Miss Robinson. thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Will you
Like
share it on the podcast?
No, it's too long
All right.
right now.
But you've had that
But
experience, and
it
you could have
was-
played the role even
Yeah,
more
yeah,
strongly.
I mean, this was 13. It was 13 years ago.
Okay.
13 years ago. And she would come to the restaurant that I waited tables at. And one day the first time I met her, it was this whole dramatic thing. Like it was like Midtown happening place. And my manager, I went and told my manager, I was like, this lady is she's not happy with her table. She probably did have, I mean, if you're worried about this kind of stuff, she had tapi the worst table in the restaurant because she would watch the waiters come in and out of the kitchen. But my manager was like, just throw some Texas charm on her. It'll be fine. I did. And the next time she came in, she calls me out to the table, and she was with, I don't need to get into this story, but she was with this woman who was an heir to the Guggenheim family.
Oh, geez.
And her girlfriend, and it was a bit not scandalous, but like this lady used to be Liz Smith's lover, who was, the editor of Page 6 or whatever for a long time. But it wasn't that known.
Just trying to keep up.
And anyways, and at one point she was like, you should come to dinner with us. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, these are like grandmother figures in New York. Seriously.
Yeah.
And then she did invite me to a dinner. I mean, it was more like cocktails at her house, meeting her dogs. They were show dogs.
Oh my gosh.
And,
you hooked up with Bunny.
And then
you
went to,
was it Bunny?
Bunny's the mom that did the cigarette in her mouth the wrong way.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Trey's
that was
mom.
basically her. I mean, because she was a very she's a very successful lady, and she was married at the time. I found this out like in the middle of this whole thing. She was married to somebody who owned a zinc mine. I mean, they were ridiculously.
It sounds like an improvised comedy podcast.
It was her apartment was on 85th and 5th. At one point, it was when they started getting a divorce, which happened. Which she told me she was going to get a divorce from him.
People that aren't from New York, that's 85th is known as Zinc Mine Alley. That's all the money. Is from zinc mines.
No, but her like rooftop looked over onto the Met, and like it was this 2-story place. Jeez. Anyways, I found out like at the end of dinner that what her intentions were for that night. When I had to take her home, she was wasted.
Oh my god!
And I was like, okay, if we can go back, I did say these were kind of like grandmother figures. So I'm like holding the backs of her arms, like walking into her apartment. She tells me to lie to the doorman and be like, just tell him you're a nephew. And I was like, okay. And then we got up, and then I went to help her throw up, and then she basically blocked the doorway, and her clothes started coming off. Her shoes came off until she was 100% naked. But she had I mean, she took everything off, but in front of me, like I could not get around her in the door, like in the doorway. And then she laid down on the bed and she said, "Just screw me."
Oh my god!
Not lying. I in a very drunk voice. But that was my Miss Robinson moment.
Oh my gosh! Like this episode is so perfectly crafted for you to be here. This is insane.
You have like a real life version of it. And I mean, that's, I think, where the saying comes. The saying, 1 in the pink, 2 in the zinc, right?
Yeah. One of the best lines of the night was she said, "Well, I'm going to go downstairs and freshen up."
Oh man.
And I'm going to have Christina. I think that was her like assistant's name. Office daughter, as she called her.
Oh my gosh.
She was like, "I'm gonna have Kristen show you the roof," and and I was like, okay. I was starting to get a little bit. I didn't know what I was like. Couldn't believe what was going on. So I kept, and then I'm like just like walking with my head down. I'm gonna go out on the roof and be like, because this girl Kristen's like 23.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't think that I was coming up here for this. And as we're walking out, she goes, "Oh, Mark." I turn around and she's, "I came to New York with $100. All of this could be yours."
What? Oh,
And then we went outside.
Oh my God.
Mufasa. That's
All of this
Mark.
could be yours.
all the light touches.
all the light touches will be yours. What about the Bronx? Don't look over there.
Wow.
But that's funny because like seeing the storyline that you should have been in, your part in the show, and hearing that story, it's funny to think of how many times that actually happens around New York, or I guess in like bigger cities like New York and LA and stuff like that, that there is some woman that's like, this could all be yours.
Mm-hmm.
If you just, there was one time that I had a friend who they held a screening of a movie. This directing team who directed these big comedy movies, they wanted my friends to like do something with their movie, and they flew out this one assistant to screen the movie at my friend's apartment with all their like comedy friends. And they were like, "It'll be a fun night. We'll pay for all the drinks and buy you guys food, and you can watch it and see what you want to do to like make a thing to help promote our movie." So I went and hung out, and the assistant was a little bit older than all of us. And she was just like, "Yeah, I'm here from LA. And like, this is fun to be with all you guys." And she proceeded to just drink so much. She drank like 2 bottles of wine herself. And then at the end of the night, I lived in Harlem in Manhattan, John. I lived in Harlem way uptown. We were way out in Brooklyn and everybody lived out there. And they were like, "Well, she's staying by Central Park." And my friend was like, "Dude, just jump in her car with her so you don't have to take the train back to Brooklyn." And the whole way back in the car, she took both her hands and put my hand in hers. And she just kept being like, "So Cory, tell me about you. Let's talk about you. What do you want to do? What do you want to do with everything?"
Oh my gosh.
And then at one point I was like, "Hey, listen, I should probably go. I'm just going to get out." And she was like, "So do you like boys? Is there a boy that I can introduce you to?" And I was like, No. It's not like, it's fine. I need to go home. And she's like, "Okay, what do you want to do?"
Wait, you don't like boys?
I love boys.
The Bradshaw Boys?
I love the Bradshaw Boys. I love men. But then we got out at her hotel and then she was like, "We're going upstairs." And then finally the guy kept looking at me and I was like,
I like that she turned into a Chicago sports fan.
she
We're
did. She
going
turned into Bill
We're going
Schwartz's super fan.
upstairs. We're going to have some beers. And we're going to watch the Bears.
We're going upstairs.
Pull out your dong there.
You got a hot dog.
See the Cubs.
Yeah. But I made it out. But I wonder how many times that happens all the time. It's
Oh,
gotta happen.
probably all the time.
I think it happens all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the Miranda storyline. The Miranda dating out of her league.
Okay.
It
Which
took
one
me
was
by
Miranda?
surprise.
Miranda's
Redhead.
Cynthia Nixon, redhead, who goes on the date
Oh,
with the
yeah,
hunk
yeah,
guy, and
yeah,
then she
yeah,
gets
yeah.
insecure that he's
She's a lawyer.
better looking than her. As someone who like married way out of my league, I can understand the sentiment. Yeah, you guys are both like, not. I know it's true. I
remember you posting Instagrams. That you
No,
would
she's.
say.
Let's get down to it. She's way sexier than he is. He's a very good looking dude.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. But he's kind of like vanilla good looking.
I
Yeah.
agree. With what you're
I
saying.
mean, granted, if I was as good looking as him, I would be happy, but I'm not. So
Let's get into that.
But it is he's kind of a like vanilla good looking dude.
When
Yeah.
you said, "Hold on, let's talk about this," I thought you were totally going to be like, "John, your wife's not that attractive. Like, you're way better." And I was
John,
like,
you didn't marry out of your league.
because I did, and it'll be-
At best, it's even. Come on, dude.
not even close. But I agree with you. He was like your standard, like
He's like your classic
like fireman, and yeah,
Well, I think
classically handsome guy.
yeah.
not
Which I
only
learned early on.
I don't
but I'm
think-
not.
I don't think he would have turned heads the way that she perceived the heads being turned. Like
Yeah.
people wouldn't have like fumbled over him, and the waitress wouldn't have like flirted so aggressively, and the bartender, like he was fine, but he wasn't like going to be causing people to stumble.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he's attractive.
But we have seen that in this world. You have seen those times where you're out and you're like, these yolks are definitely not even. Like that man or woman is way better looking than their partner.
Well,
my
Yeah,
question.
kicking out of your coverage is
Yeah.
say it.
And
you kicked out of your coverage.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And I know these two gentlemen have as well. And so
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We've all done it. But what are your like? I don't know. Have you guys ever had a time where you've just seen it and been like, this is absurd? Usually for me, it's
seen
like
a couple together.
yeah. Usually for me, it's like you see like a really old guy and who's just like out of shape, and then you see some like super hot Brazilian model with him, and you're like, I know what's happening here.
Yeah,
like, it's
I've seen that.
It's the money bridge is bridging the gap here.
Yeah,
right.
That's usually what it is.
I've totally seen that. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen it flipped. I'm trying to think if I've seen an older, like powerful, sexy woman with like a younger guy that's just all looks.
Were you there? Were you there?
Did I not just tell
Yeah,
you?
were you there with the night that Mark was on?
Mark just told me that story. I forgot about that. Yeah, all looks, bro.
I'm not gonna say her name though, because that'd be rude.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
It was Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell wanted to be on this podcast.
Mark just nodded his head when John said that.
Yeah.
All this could be yours.
All this could be yours.
All this could be
And then
yours.
she shot a koosh ball out. Just shot a big. Man, if
For those of you that don't remember, Rosie O'Donnell used to throw koosh balls into the crowd at her show. Is that
John
right?
hit it, dude. That koosh ball shit. We also need to get a hold of O'Donnell. Let's show this.
We
this
do.
clip.
Hey, we need to.
Wait, what? Okay, Roseanne.
Rosie O'Donnell show.
Not Roseanne Barr.
No,
I was
Same
Roseanne
thing,
Barr.
but liberal.
Well, no, I just read an article about her today, and I was like, if she could just like stop for a second.
Roseanne.
Yeah.
if she could just
Yeah.
chill.
She needs to pump the brakes a little bit.
Hey, real quick, because Carrie got mugged. John,
Yes.
you said something either in like a group text or something the other day about you getting held up at gunpoint one time.
Yeah.
Oh, our producer Jeremy scared you on the street.
Yeah.
And you said that was the scariest. That's scarier than the time you get held at gunpoint. When did you get robbed at gunpoint?
I was in jury duty today, and I was talking about this with the judge. I got mugged, or I got attempted mugged in the summer of 2012. It was in Lefferts Garden, and I was walking on Ocean Avenue to like a deli, and a guy just walked up and pulled out a gun and like kind of showed it to me and was like, "Give me your key, or give me your like wallet and your money." And I didn't process what was happening, and so I treated him like someone just asking me for money. And I just went, "No thanks," and I just kept walking right past him into the store. And I was in the store, and I was like, holy cow, that like I like had a freak out, and I like chilled in the store for like 10 minutes, and I think he went away. But I think both of us didn't expect that reaction.
Yeah.
He definitely did not expect me to just like walk past him and say no thanks.
Yeah.
And I obviously didn't. You don't know how to respond when that happens. I didn't process it all.
Yeah.
But the guy in the episode like pulled it out and pointed at it. He just like showed it to me, So
That's why
I don't know. I don't think he was seriously going to shoot me. It was like there's tons of other people around, but I didn't think about any of that. I just treated him like someone asking for change in the subway.
Yeah. That's crazy. I'm sure he didn't expect that at all. I got caught in a crossfire one time in 2008 in Hell's Kitchen, and we were walking down the street, and these guys got in a fight, and a guy pulled out a gun, and he just started shooting, and he shot across the street I was with my friend Josh and a girl I was dating, another friend, and we split up, and they ran ahead and got in the building, but Josh at the time was not working, and so all he would do was stay at home and watch shows about like murder investigations, like 24 Hours on ID and shows like that. And so once the guy started shooting, we got behind a car and we called 911, and they were like, 911, what's your emergency? And I didn't know what to say. And because Josh had been watching murder shows, he knew exactly the breakdown, and he just went 6'2", black male, blue shirt, silver gun, baggy jeans. And he named off everything. And then they called him in, and he had to look at a lineup that night.
That's so funny. Did he ID him?
He didn't ID him. The guy got away. They found the bullet casings 3 weeks later.
Wow.
Yeah, that was nuts. Have you guys ever been in a shooting?
Yeah.
No.
When were you?
Times Square. There was this guy that sold his CDs and rap CDs.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy came up to him. We were working on the block in Times Square. I was passing out flyers. And someone came up and like, he's like, you want my rap CD? And they're like, police, and then he just started running, and he ran in front of the Marriott Marquis in Times Square, and he turned around and just started shooting.
I remember when that happened.
Yeah, that's Raymond Martinez. I remember. And then he just got shot and killed in Times Square because he pulled out a semi.
And you were there?
Yeah, I was there.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Whoa.
Saw it all happen. I was getting paid passing out Broadway show flyers.
You like comedy?
Yeah. I wasn't doing that, but those people were on our block too. I was just passing out flyers. This dude just gets saw him like singing to girls and just ran, pulled out a gun, blasted it towards us.
Jeez.
And then
did he injure anyone? Did anyone get hit by his
no
bullets?
one got hit by his bullets. He had
Thank goodness.
he had like an Uzi that got stopped.
Oh my
was like,
gosh.
And then it just stopped. And then we told our boss, we had to text our boss and just be like, hey, there's like a shooting going on in Times Square. So we're like hiding inside the McDonald's. And he just texts back. He's like, all right, give it 5 minutes and then get back to your block. And it was just like, wow, man, real world is beautiful. I meant to say, not beautiful.
Wait, who were you with? Was there Martinez?
Raymond Martinez.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, he was the shooter.
He was the guy.
Yeah, he was the shooter.
I don't associate with him.
Right.
My last name is Menchaca. It's not Martinez.
Yeah.
Just let you know.
Mark, we do a podcast within the podcast here at Bradshaw Boys. There's a character from the show that you didn't see today, unfortunately. His name's Steve.
Yeah.
You know who the actor David Eigenberg is?
No.
He's on Chicago Fire.
Probably so.
Okay. That's Steve.
Okay.
There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're big Steve fans, and so we do a segment.
Why didn't you show Mark? You just showed John.
Yeah, you just
John
said-
knows
yeah.
who Steve is.
No, that's
No,
not
it's a
Steve.
different
That's Martinez.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we do Steve talk, where we talk about Steve, or we role play a scene with Steve.
Where's this obsession come from?
Oh, okay.
Where
That's
does
the
it
first
come
time anyone's asked. Hey, John, respond with a 20-second answer.
Why don't we play?
Do you know him or
No.
Do you want to do this within an actual Steve talk?
We think he's a great character. There's he dangles.
There's a lot of things to dangle.
It's a favorite guy. It's Steve Talk. Miranda.
All right.
All right.
Okay, there we go.
Welcome to Steve
so what's
Talk.
the scene?
Now we're in.
You had an idea here.
Oh yeah. What was your
What is it? I
idea?
forget.
It was Steve and I think it was Steve and Mark both auditioning for the scene of being Sam Jones, right?
Yes. Okay. So Mark, you were going to be auditioning for the part of Sam Jones, who wants to fuck Kim Cattrall, Sam Jones.
Oh yeah.
All right. And the casting director, welcome to Eigenberg Studios. You're going to be auditioning for your role in front of Steve, who is a casting director around New York.
Yeah.
And your casting director is on the mic right now, and he's calling you in for your audition.
Okay.
And this, sir, is Marc Menchaca, and
Okay.
he'll be auditioning for the role of
the headshot
Sam
looks-
Jones, college student.
Oh, the headshot looks very good. This looks like a current headshot. Hey, Mark, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Did you I took it you look over the sides?
I did.
Tell me a little about yourself as an actor. What are you? You a drama guy, a comedy guy?
I like comedy, but I usually do drama,
Okay.
dramatic.
So
things.
this scene is about a guy named Sam Jones who's going to be with Kim Cattrall. He's going to be making love to a woman named Sam Jones. Have you ever had any experience with the age difference?
I have.
Okay. I would say bring that to the read.
I will say that I am attracted to older women.
Okay, so I'll say this not as a casting director, but as an acting coach. Use that.
Okay.
Take that in. Say the words back to me. Take that in.
Take that in.
Take that in.
Take that in.
And use that.
And use that.
And use that.
And use that.
Take that in.
Take that in.
And use that.
And use that.
Let's start the scene. Okay. I'm Sam Jones.
Hi, I'm Kim Cattrall.
Let's start over real quick. So actually, this is the way the script goes because you're also Sam Jones. So we'll say, I'm Sam Jones.
I'm Sam Jones.
There we go. Now we're just repeating again. you look like you're a freshman in college. Do you have a lot of experience with women?
You look like you're a freshman in college. Do you have a lot of experience?
I think we got to book this guy. I think he just got the part.
No.
Yeah, I think you got it. Really? I think you got the part.
It's a favorite ride.
I love this business.
It's Steve Top Miranda.
Thank you. That was Steve talk.
Hey, wow.
That was great.
I
think that
appreciate
was
you putting the glasses on.
that was good. That was
That was
very
amazing.
artistic.
Yeah, no, it made sense. It all made sense.
I felt like that was Meisner technique we were doing, right? Was that we were repeating back
Yeah,
each
we're doing
other?
a little repetition.
Yeah.
And little repetition, and then I mean you kind of went. I don't know. You put a few things together. It wasn't just Meisner.
Well, there's a few tools in there.
Yeah, a couple tools in the shed there.
In there, yeah.
Well, we also do a Cosmo rating. We rate the episode from 1 to 5 Cosmos. Now, this is the only episode of Sex and the City you've ever seen. So
Right.
you have
Yes.
you have a tabula rosa, a blank slate.
Well, I think I know where I'm going because number one, I love Kim Cattrall.
Yeah,
You do.
and you.
Goodness gracious.
Donezo.
I mean that is I'm done.
Perfect. I love that. So the Cosmo rating is brought to us by America's favorite vodka,
The best.
Absolute Elix.
That's right. Absolute elix.
Time to drink some good vodka.
Listen, if you want to, Mark, if I asked you right now, what's your favorite vodka cocktail?
It's an Absolute Elex. Straight up and dirty.
There we
with
go.
a little side of whiskey.
I'll take it.
Sponsored by
Absolute
Absolute Elix. Sponsored by Absolute Elix.
Awesome.
So fun.
Go
And
to Absolute Elix's website and get you some cocktails. John, go ahead.
with a side of whiskey, baby.
Side of whiskey, baby.
All right, so we're gonna. Since you're the guest, we want you to go. If you want, you sound like you already have your rating in mind. Do you want to go first?
Oh, with this episode?
Yeah,
I mean,
1 to 5 Cosmos.
You can also use.
you can
use half
5
being
5 being the best, one of the best things you've ever
5.
seen.
The best whiskey cocktail.
5. Kim Cattrall.
5. You have a 5. First episode you saw is a
Kim
5.
Cattrall, and I knew
and you.
Sam
the guy
Jones.
who got my part.
Yeah. It was the perfect storm.
And we didn't even talk about that. Like this, if you listen to this podcast from the beginning, it seems like a setup.
I know.
It's
Like,
not
totally
a
not.
fucking setup.
And it was not a setup.
No, you asked us
crazy.
while we were watching. You were like, "Did you know this was going to be
Yeah.
the episode? Did you guys
Yeah.
plan that we're watching this?" No, not at all.
We did not.
No.
We legitimately have never seen that episode. I've never even read a description of that episode.
Yeah, I mean,
That's amazing.
Hi, Kim.
So 5 Cosmos. All right, boys.
Do you guys just want to go?
Let's just go.
I'm going
go.
to give this a 5 Cosmo.
Really?
I am, just because. And I was swayed a little bit by Mark, but just having that experience of watching this story unfold, that was his part, and him knowing the person. Plus, there was actually like some good stuff. There was like some Charlotte depth, seeing Miranda wasted, waking up the next day, seeing Carrie like be full on the worst human being of all time, seeing Samantha like meet that guy, fall in love, like him falling in love with her having to ghost him. That's what it's called, right?
Oh yeah.
Like there was a lot of good stuff. I think without Mark, I would have given this episode like a 4. But having Mark here, it was just too fun to not give this episode a 5. 5 Cosmos all the way.
5 Cosmos. I'm giving it a 4. I have to be honest. I had no score for this going into it because it's been a long day and it's been a fun day, and we already did an episode, and I was like, I don't even know what to give this, but I would say that we're back into it.
Yeah.
We're back in the business. Every story had stakes.
Yeah.
Miranda's had stakes because it's like, I feel that shit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to go hard with a firefighter or with an attractive guy. He's not a firefighter.
He was a cop.
I want to cook steaks with Kim Cattrall.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go. Those are the kind of steaks.
This was a fun episode, and we are back in it, and we got to get some steaks on the grill.
Can me?
It was a fun episode. It was great.
All
Corey,
right. You know what? I have a rating, but I think since Mark's here, I'm going 4.75.
Woo.
Hey,
Getting it up there.
Mark brings it out of us.
I started at a 4, but I'm going 4.75 because
because you're imagining me as Sam.
Absolutely.
100%. Well, if that's the case, then I'm giving it a 6. But you can't write that. You can't write how good that was that you were here. And the Charlotte thing had a lot of depth with her making out with the gardener, and then her she's
on her husband.
Yeah, she cheated on her husband.
There's
Then
a lot going on.
Then
in
the
this
Carrie thing, that was super selfish, but there was a lot of depth there. Saw some good humanity from Natasha.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miranda getting Hamtown with the cop.
Yeah.
And the whole thing about just Miranda being like everyone's staring at him because he's beautiful and no one's staring at me. When like I think what Mark is right. She's got the spiciness and the real
She's got going
attractiveness. Yeah.
Yeah.
4.75.
Awesome. What a great
control.
What a great episode, Mark. Do you do so? Where can we find you on social media? Do you do social media? Are you active?
I have a Twitter account. I don't do it much. I got rid of Facebook and Instagram, but I quietly got back on Instagram
Oh, wow. I didn't even know that.
a week ago.
All right.
Okay.
But
So
now
look-
it's loud and clear. Followers, Marc Menchaca, MG Menchaca.
guys,
Right?
get out there. Look at that.
I'll tell you what. If you haven't been here yet, the Bradshaw Boys are one hell of a good team. Come on.
You heard it there. Come on.
Oh,
Oh, man. We need next time, Mark, if you come on again, will you bring your ropes?
Yeah.
yeah. Will you do some roping for
I would
us?
love to get some Instagram video.
If
of
we
me-
do a Kim
me doing
Control
rope.
episode, I just say we do. It's just we're not even on it. It's just
It's
Mark
I
just
and
get
Kim.
to rope. I get to rope you, Kim. I got 2 ropes up here.
Two ropes.
All
I'll
right,
give you the most. I'll give you the one that's the most worn in. It's got
Dude, Mark's biography, 2 ropes and a commando.
Two
Mark
ropes and a
Menchaca.
commando. Marc
Boom.
Menchaca, Urban Cowboy.
All right. Thank you all. Check
thank
us
you,
out on
dude.
iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Give us 5 Cosmos.
Give us 5 Cosmos.
Rate
Go
our-
to Patreon, get some extra eps.
Yeah. Write a nice review.
Watch Mark
Say
on
good
Ozark.
things. Spread the love.
Watch Mark on this episode. But
Cosmos.
All right.
Hey, you know what show you should say real quick before you end.
let's say it.
I don't know if did you watch Random Acts of Flyness?
No, but keep talking.
I did an episode of that show, and it fucking blew my mind.
Yeah.
Random Acts of Flyness. Where can we watch it?
Flyness on HBO.
What? Do you know the episode name you're in?
No.
Okay. Random Acts of Flyness. Well, everyone has IMDb. Look at Mark Menchaca.
Yeah, look at Marc Menchaca and watches
Random Acts of Flyness episode.
That I will say that episode is particularly good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Paul Sparks was the lead of it. It's kind of an like anthology kind of series. So
Cool.
watch it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Random Acts of Flyness.
Random Acts of
I don't
Flyness.
know- wait, how did I plug that? PAX?
That's great.
PAX.
Thank you, Pat.
Brought to you by PAX.
Brought to you by PAX.
Is
Before we go,
marijuana legal?
Thank
where you're
you
from?
for random packs of flyness.
Oh.
Random PAX.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
and
Love y'all.
cut.
The Bradshaw Boys stars Cory Cavin, Jon Sieber, and Kevin James Doyle. The show is produced by Jeremy L. Balin. For more information on the guys, check out their website at bradshawboys.com, on social media at The Bradshaw Boys, and if you see them in the street, tip your glass. Thanks for listening.